KELA.
Welcome to KELA's Let's Talk About It. Discussions on a variety of topics of interest to Southwest Washington area listeners. Write down our listener call-in number and keep it handy. 330-5352. That's 330-KELA. You're invited to join in with your calls now at 330-KELA. Views expressed on this show are those of the host, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of the station, its management, or advertisers. Daily programs are recorded for playback, podcasts, and promotional purposes. And now, let's talk about it.
Good morning. Welcome to KELA AM. Let's talk about it. I am your host, Chad Taylor, and you have made it to the fastest 30 minutes in radio. And I have the one and only host of KELA AM. Let's talk about it. Fellow host, I guess I should say. Yeah. You might know who it is just by that small little piece of his voice. Peter Abbarno, Representative Abbarno, our amazing representative for the area, constantly keeping us in the view, making sure we're taken care of down here. But today we're going to talk about something that I think would interest all of you. Call us if you would like. 360-330-5352 is the phone number for the important topic of initiatives. Initiatives. Now, Peter, I need you to set this up because there are 4 very important initiatives coming up in this this election that we're all going to have the opportunity to vote on. And sometimes they're a little bit confusing in the titles, right? You don't really know if you should vote yes or no. Is yes mean no, or does no mean... It gets confusing. Tell us about what the 4 initiatives are, and then we could dig into them a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, thanks for having me. Love being back on radio.
Absolutely.
Radio is my passion. I love being on it. It's always sad when campaign season starts. I have to get off. But I would always say that it's not the fastest 30 minutes in radio. It is when I'm hosting, it's the best 30 minutes of radio. But
I like that.
That being said, so at the top of your ballot, you're going to find 4 initiatives. You're going to find 2066, 2109, 2117, and 2124. So 2066 is the stop the ban on gas. So the legislature passed a bill that would phase out natural gas in homes and businesses and really ultimately lead to a ban on it. And there was an initiative where 500,000 people signed on to it to get 2066 on the ballot. And that would address that issue.
So this initiative is the one that when people talked about they're going to ban your gas stove in your apartment building or your gas washer or hot water heater. This is what Inslee's group wants to take away from people.
Well, and I wouldn't say Inslee's group. I'd say House Democrats and Senate Democrats.
Got it.
Because the bills don't just pop out of thin air for the governor to sign. It actually, there's a legislature who writes these and passes these. So I always say, you there's a lot of times we want to blame the governor for things, but at the end of the day, you have to blame the legislature and the House Democrats and Senate Democrats. But this is a initiative to the people, unlike the other 3, which were initiatives to the legislature. So this required a shorter time frame to get signatures, more signatures, and it is directly to you to decide, yes, do you want to stop the ban on gas? So a yes vote would mean that you want to repeal this phase out of natural gas. A no vote means you like banning natural gas and you want to continue the phase out.
That's the confusing part.
Yeah, and each one of these...
Yes means no.
Well, yes means repeal.
Right.
And that's the way I've been saying. A lot of the folks at Let's Go Washington always say vote yes to pay less. That's true too.
That works.
It's really vote yes to repeal what the legislature is doing. If you're not happy with natural gas bans, you want to vote yes.
Okay.
And that's the first one. That's going to be at the top of your ballot, even before you vote for a president or anybody else.
Okay.
And that's directly to the people.
Now, can I ask you a question? So
you can ask me as many. You're the host.
Well, directly to the people. So that I thought initiatives were just initiatives. So so this initiative is to the people because the legislature wouldn't have to take any action if the people vote yes to repeal this. It's done.
Yeah, it's to the people because we were not in session when they got the signatures and got it on the ballot.
Okay.
Where the other initiatives, actually, the legislature had an opportunity to pass 6 initiatives. They passed 3, and the other 3 that I'm going to talk about, the legislature said, we don't want to hear it. We don't want any comments. We're just going to ignore it like it never happened, and we're going to pretend that 500,000 people in the state of Washington, which when you're talking about 8 million people, right?
Yeah.
500,000 people is one out of every 16 people in your neighborhood signed on to this.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot.
It's significant. Thank you. That works. I forgot about the part where the legislature failed to act on these 4. That's why they're back on the ballot.
Well, 3 of them are.
3 of them, sorry.
The 2066 went directly to you to decide, do you vote yes to repeal this ban on natural gas, or do you vote no because you want to continue that ban on natural gas? And 2066 is really, as I put it, it's about vote yes, pay less. And I kind of think that's
it's a good slogan.
It's a great slogan, right?
Yeah.
But it's about energy choice. There are a lot of people in our community and in the listeners out there who have natural gas in their homes.
Yeah.
To phase it out or ban it, while there are some grants out there, there aren't any to retrofit your entire house.
Right.
Right. So you're going to look at $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to get rid of natural gas in your home and then electrify the entire house. Plus, how do we actually look? Your phone's on.
Wow.
Now that's a faux pas on radio.
Oh my goodness. Sorry.
So it also impacts those in our community who can least afford to retrofit and to electrify their entire house. And good luck, Centralia City Light or PUD, when we now have everybody electrified. It's just not feasible.
Absolutely. Thank you for that explanation.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
I know. So what's next?
So the next one, that was before the legislature, but the House Democrats and Senate Democrats decided they did not want to hear this bill, so it went directly to you, 2109. And that's going to repeal the capital gains tax.
Mm-hmm.
So when the capital gains tax was initially proposed, it was to tax at, I believe it was like 14% of anything over $25,000.
Right.
That is not a rich person's tax. That is virtually everybody.
We're all paying that.
Right. So, but as it morphed through the legislature, they passed a bill that would impose a capital gains tax of 7% on everything over $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why for a yes vote? I mean, first of all, for anybody who owns a business, $250,000 in equity in your business over a lifetime is pretty realistic.
It's absolutely crazy.
I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but
it is a lot of money. But
it is.
It's very easy in a small business to hit that threshold.
Yeah, because a lot of people will sink money into retirement. Other people will sink money into real estate or their business. So if you own your business, while the business may not get taxed with the capital gains, you as the owner will.
And this is 7.5% annually, right?
Well, it would be whenever you decide to sell it.
Right.
Right. Now, the Kamala Harris plan would be
annually.
That's unrealized capital gains. And so she's proposing that whether you sell or not, whether you actually realize it or not.
Right. You pay it.
You pay it every year. So this plan would tax folks who have invested in their business as a form of retirement. And that's why you're seeing it. And, you know, you hate to be too partisan, but you kind of have to. You're seeing all these rich folks in Seattle who mostly are Democrat, the Bill Gates of the world.
Absolutely.
Who are moving their businesses to other states that don't have capital gains.
Yeah.
Now, originally, the money was to be used for education. A few things happened. One, they way overestimated how much money capital gains was going to produce. Because they didn't realize that all of these rich Democrats were going to move out of state
right.
to save their money, right? Not tax fraud, but tax avoidance. The other thing is the Department of Revenue, right before the budget came out at the end of session, evidence that they double booked the estimated income and revenue from it. And 2, they had estimated what the revenue would be, but forgot about the one thing, human nature, which is tax avoidance.
Yep.
And there was huge taxpayer migration. And so they thought there would be more money there than there was. So what we saw is, because of that, you had members in the majority in the Senate Democrats and House Democrats who are now proposing to lower that $250 back to the original $25,000. So that is what
capture a whole bunch of folks.
A whole bunch of folks. It's not going to be a rich person tax, and it really isn't anyway. It's a mom and pop store type tax.
I mean, you look at any business, any small business that's operating with 1 or 2 employees, $250,000 is that's a bare minimum that they have to even make it a year.
Yeah.
I mean, you got with all the taxes and things, and that's not even, if you are only doing $250,000 a year in your business gross, you're not making any money.
Right.
I mean, really, because all the taxes and the insurance, the lights to keep on, the employees you have to pay, the payroll taxes, the long-term care. I mean, it's insane.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, I know. So that's cap and trade, right? Is that what they called that?
No, this is capital gains.
Capital gains, got you. Yeah. Cap and trade's next too. I got you.
A lot of people say, well, it excludes, certain things that will be outside of the capital gains tax. But what they fail to realize is most mom and pop owners of businesses and stores don't own it through this big corporation. They own it as individuals. So while the business may not pay the capital gains, when they sell it, that individual will. So it hits the people personally on that. And that's so if you vote yes, it repeals the capital gains
tax.
Vote
yes, pay less. I got it.
If you vote no, then you like the capital gains, but you also must like the idea that they may lower that to impact you as well.
Yeah, and the bottom line is it doesn't matter who's paying it. If a business is paying something, in the end, we're all paying for it because their costs go up. Yeah. It's the bottom line, right? Okay, let's.
I always tell my employees, I said, just remember, like when we reinvest in our business, that's money I don't bring home.
Right.
I don't bring home to my family because I reinvest in the business so we could hire more people, we could expand, we could
pay higher salaries,
and create revenue for the city of Centralia and Lewis County.
Yeah.
Because that's what it does. So when they nickel and dime businesses, they're taking away the opportunity to reinvest locally.
Absolutely.
So the next one, how are we doing on time? We're doing
We're
great.
Gonna go. We got a couple minutes before we go to break, and I know we got callers lining up, and we will get to them, but I want to get these initiatives on the floor.
330-5352. That's 330-KELA.
Boom. I love it.
Sorry.
You're good at this.
I know, right? I only did it for like 10 years. So the next initiative that will be on the ballot is 2117. Now, folks who want to vote yes, that is what has been, again, a good motto, right?
Right.
Stop the hidden gas tax. This is the Climate Commitment Act. And what the Climate Commitment Act did was it created a credit tax program, right? Cap and trade.
Yep.
So what the cap and trade program does is it allows polluters to buy credits to be allowed to pollute. I always tease and say it's kind of like a sin tax, right?
Yeah.
And so what naturally will happen is if you own a company and you want to pollute, you can,
as long as you pay for it,
right?
Yeah, of course.
And then over time, those credits will go down and down, forcing people to either leave the state or to either start monopolizing that market.
Changing what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
But what it's actually done is it's increased the cost of fuel at the pump by about 50 cents a gallon. Now, those are estimates within the state of Washington. There's a lot of analysis on this. And I was on the House floor talking about this because California, although the Department of Ecology won't tell you how much this costs you at the pump, California actually has a whole system and mechanism to say for every time for value of credit to pollute, this is how much it increases your fuel at the pump.
Yep.
This is a hugely regressive initiative.
Absolutely.
Because it hurts the people who can least afford it. Because not only does it increase your fuel at the pump, but what do you think it's going to do to the trucking industry who has to deliver food? Food's going to go up. Services are going to go up. And then everything at your kitchen table costs more.
Absolutely.
I mean, Jay Inslee said this is only going to cost pennies. The House Democrats and Senate Democrats said this is only going to cost pennies. And now we know, it's cost at least 50 pennies per gallon.
50 pennies.
And that's a lot. That's a lot of money. So if you vote yes, this would repeal the Climate Commitment Act and this gas tax. And if you vote no, it will maintain it, and you'll keep paying it, and so will we.
Yeah, wow. I know it's like a fire hose this morning, everybody, and I get that, but we got to get these initiatives out there. We need to know what we're voting for. You're listening to KELA AM 1470. Let's talk about it. We're going to be right back after these messages.
Regardless of which way the market is leaning, investing in real estate means building equity and planning for your future. Hi, I'm Heather Stewart with Blade Realty, and I've been caring for buyers and sellers for years now. With home sales up 50% since this time last year and about 20% more inventory, we have a healthy market and one you should consider taking advantage of. Whether you are looking to sell or buy a home to settle into, get in touch with me and let's explore your options. Find me on Facebook at Heather Stewart Realtor or online at heatherstewartrealtor.com.
All into savings at Home Carpet Warehouse. What's the best thing about living in Southwest Washington? Football season? Hunting? Salmon fishing the local rivers? Or world-class albacore fishing off our coast? No, it's the Fall into Savings event at Home Carpet Warehouse. All your favorite fall colors and more from the guys that guarantee savings. For 30 years, Home Carpet Warehouse has been supplying Southwest Washington homes and businesses with all kinds of quality flooring to fit your needs. Check out Home Carpet Warehouse's huge selection of wall-to-wall carpet, waterproof flooring for anything life throws at you, solid and engineered hardwood, ceramic tile, and a huge selection of 12 and 13-foot wide sheet vinyl. Top it off with solid surface countertops and Hunter Douglas window fashions, and turn your house into your dream home. Ask about Same as Cash Financing OAC. Voted the best for over 20 straight years. Home Carpet Warehouse, across the street from McDonald's and Staples in Chehalis.
Only one name has mastered the mix of community involvement and pre-owned cars. Community First Auto Center. Blending community involvement with a wide range of meticulously prepared vehicles at a price that's just right. To them, you're not a dollar sign, which is refreshing when you're buying a vehicle. So stop by today. Whether you need a daily driver, truck for work, or an SUV for the family, they have a vehicle for you. Community First Auto Center. It's not just a name, it's what they do. Online at cfaccars.com. A touch above the rest.
And if you don't already know, the best is back.
On the web, on your phone, and on the air.
KELA. Let's talk about it.
Hey, welcome back to KELA AM 1470. Let's talk about it. Fastest 30 minutes in radio is on right now. 15 are gone, and the next 15 are going to be even faster. I got Representative Abbarno, former, radio host, representative, attorney. He's got so many titles.
Like a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking initiatives, and we're taking away the confusion. We're getting down to brass tacks. He's explaining them to us in layman's terms, which you all know that's what I need. We have one more point to get to on the last initiative before we move on. What was that?
So we were just finishing up on the cap and trade program. That was 2117. You vote yes. Then you're going to repeal, that increase at the fuel pump and repeal the Climate Commitment Act, which is a cap and trade program. You vote no, you maintain it. I think one nuance and very interesting point that a lot of folks don't talk about is this year, House Democrats and Senate Democrats voted to link our credit market to the province of Quebec and to California. And their argument was if we link our market to them, which would create a kind of binding, not binding agreement with another country and another state, that it would stabilize our credit market so you wouldn't see massive fluctuations in fuel prices. True. That probably would happen. However, when Quebec has higher fuel prices than Washington, when California has higher fuel prices than Washington, it'll stabilize it, but it's not going to stabilize your fuel prices lower.
No.
It's going to stabilize your fuel prices higher.
Of course.
And so we made that point on the House floor to a majority of deaf ears, sadly. But that's really an interesting part that, Washington kind of gave up its own independence in deciding how we're going to manage our market to another country and another state.
Yeah.
That are much bigger, their markets are bigger, and probably are going to influence. So someone in Quebec, let's say a company, can buy all our credits or a bunch of our credits to continue polluting somewhere else.
Of course.
And what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of businesses just move out of the state of Washington. That's not, I think, what we want to see.
No, that's not what we want to see at all.
And another thing, if you look at the ads, the ads talk about reducing pollution. This is about carbon. This is not about pollution.
Right.
Now, a lot of people conflate those two ideas about particulate matter in the air. This is about carbon, not like, so if you see an ad about a kid with asthma in Seattle, that is a totally different issue than carbon, right? So...
And what it really all comes down to is the state is such a money-hungry eating beast, and they want more of our money. They want more of our money for ferries. They want more of our money to dig tunnels underneath Seattle. They want more of our money to, provide sex change operations for inmates in jail. That's what they want.
Well,
so
they have a spending problem.
Of course they do. Yeah, absolutely. I know that you try and stop that and you do your best, but it's hard when you don't have the amount of votes that are necessary to even block some bills or stop them. I don't want to get off on a tangent. I know we got. Let's get to the next one.
I like your tangent.
Do you? All right.
Well, look, it's not. I'll always use this kind of example, and I'm not speaking about my spouse.
Sure.
But it's kind of like when your spouse says, "Hey, did you see Walmart has a sale on flat screen TVs? They're a screaming deal." And you look and say, "Yeah, but we don't need a."
Right.
You're not saving money by spending money because you don't need it.
You don't need it.
That's what Washington government has become.
Great example. Great example.
Last initiative, 2124.
Your favorite.
I've worked really hard on this bill the bill to fix this program over the last 3-4 years. I wrote the statement in the voter's guide. 2124 does not repeal the Washington Cares payroll tax or long-term care. Although I keep seeing TV ads that say you're going to care. Right. All it does is gives workers the option to opt out. Yeah. So if you like Washington Cares and it fits your family and your lifestyle, stay with it, pay the payroll tax, and get the benefit. If you think your family is better off investing it in like a long-term care rider on your life insurance policy or standalone policy, or maybe not getting long-term care at all and investing in the stock market for, intergenerational wealth.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
This voting yes preserves Washington Care and gives you the choice to opt out. I think it's a win-win. I think voting yes on this is, to me, probably the most pragmatic.
This is
why wouldn't you?
This is the pro-choice option. Yeah. I mean, come on. This is a pro-choice option. Democrats should be supporting this.
If you look at all these initiatives, they're all about choice.
Absolutely.
Consumer choice in energy, consumer choice in your long-term care, consumer choice in terms of your fuel and energy sources. Really, if you look at all these, it's about allowing individuals and families to make choices that fit them the best.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Peter, thank you for always battling these. Thanks for trying to take care of these during session. Unfortunately, the Democrats didn't think that it was necessary to even talk about, 500,000 people's initiative, signatures on initiatives. They took care of a couple of them because they were hot button issues that they had to take care of. They were forced to.
Well, they were scared that if they were on the ballot, that it would be. You would create turnout against them, which was law enforcement pursuit.
Yep.
We passed a Parents' Bill of Rights, and we passed a ban on an income tax. Though the capital gains is an income tax in every other state but ours.
Of course. I mean, they're all about self-preservation. That's why they do things, not because it's good or anything else. It's all about what will keep them in power the longest. That's all they care about. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They care about them and the power and the dark cloakrooms that they handle all these deals up there. It's kind of disgusting. We have got the initiatives on the floor. Peter, you okay? We take a couple calls?
I think that's great.
Okay.
It's always a gamble, right?
It is.
That's fun.
Thank you, and I appreciate the caller staying with us. We're going to get to a couple here. Good morning. You're on KELA AM. Let's talk about it.
Good morning, Chad and Peter. This is Mike Kimbrell. I have two things to talk about.
Yes,
One
sir.
is basically vote yes for all of these initiatives. That's to everybody's advantage. The second thing I wanted to say is if Marie Glusenkamp Perez and KELA claimed that my wife was a Nazi, a white nationalist, and a threat to democracy, my wife would sue them for defamation of character. But because Joe Kent is is trying to get elected, he can't do that. These ads that she's putting on our radio over and over and over again are very disgusting to me and to a lot of people, and they indicate that she's willing to lie in order to get this position. If she actually gets elected, she will not be very welcome in Lewis County, and I'm disgusted that the radio station won't limit how many dollars they're making off of her running this ad that's so disgustingly hateful about Joe Kent, and that's what I got to say.
Mike, I appreciate the call, and I'm I said this before, but as a business, which KELA is a business, they have policies, and each candidate is allowed to buy if there's enough ad space, you can buy all of it if you want, but each candidate is allowed to buy it. They don't control, or should they don't control, and they shouldn't control the message that a candidate is putting on. It's that limit, that's a violation of a couple of things. And yeah, I don't like listening to those ads either, but what it does do, I think, for people that can see through the horrible stuff is it tells you that you either do want to vote for that person or you don't want to vote for that person. And she's just reaffirming to the folks with, I think, morals and values and all of those good things that you need to probably vote for the other candidate.
Yeah, it's really hard for media markets to regulate some of these. I mean, if they're flat out lies, which a lot of it's speculation and subjective, especially her claims against Joe Kent, for sure.
No doubt.
I think you can file cease and desist. You can file complaints with the FEC.
That's the campaign's job.
But that's
the
campaign's job. At the PDC, if it's a state thing, you'd file it with the PDC saying, failed to disclose, failed to identify, failed to provide information. So there are, and actually in the state of Washington, we passed a couple bills this year regarding synthetic media and some other things that help regulate it, but still give enough latitude so that people can, express things. Isn't there laws or rules or something that regulates, like, candidates can't really get in trouble for what they say during a campaign, right? The standards are much higher if you're a public figure,
right,
to be able to claim things like that. And it's unfortunate. I mean, her campaign's really gone massively negative, and it's pretty disappointing. I think it turns off a lot of people, but when people go negative that hard, it just shows that you haven't made a lot of accomplishments.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing.
Remember what I said months ago, negative campaigning works if done correctly, unfortunately, but what negative campaigning tells us as voters is that they are behind, they think they're behind, and they think they're going to lose.
Yeah, I mean, I think voters at this point would rather see contrast than just flat out mudslinging.
Right.
And it's okay to point out issues and point out votes, but when you're just like making a claim like somebody's a Nazi,
that's ridiculous. Come on.
Like I get it. Like, you believe that. That's kind of a subjective belief.
Yeah.
But go to policy positions, contrast, and I think voters are smart enough, especially KELA voters, to know the difference.
Oh, absolutely, Mike. I mean, when you're getting irritated and frustrated listening to those ads, I would be willing to bet that 95% of the people listening to this program are in the same boat as you are. They are irritating. They do frustrate me. And I do find it funny that the Democrats continuously say to cut down the rhetoric, to stop the craziness. And then her ad says he's a threat to democracy. I can't stand when people say that. No, he's not a threat to democracy.
Right.
And that's silly.
You can see she's avoiding her open border policy. She's not talking about that.
I know, yeah. She's not talking about any of those bad votes she does.
Hey, thank you, Chad.
Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for listening. You're listening to KELA AM 1470. Let's talk about it. The fastest 30 minutes in radio is coming to a close. Tomorrow it's Conspiracy Thursday. Come locked and loaded. Love to hear some conspiracies about these initiatives. What do you think? Democrats are going crazy right now because I think they know they're going to lose. And we need to stay vigilant. Coming right up is the Fox Morning Update, followed by the one and only Dan Bongino. And It's going to be a great day, Peter.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Happy wife, happy life. Keep that in your mind today. We'll see you all tomorrow. I appreciate you.
Stay informed.